If I were to ask anybody to list their 5 favorite sandwiches from childhood, Sloppy Joe would be somewhere on that list. Well, we're here after many requests to bring to you our take on this childhood classic, and we're doing it homemade style with our own sauce. If you want to see our take on these Sloppy Joes, then stick around while we dig in.
I can't believe the WALTWINS. They're right there. That's one of them. That's the other one.
I'm the other one.
Hey, welcome back. I'm Adam.
I'm Brett.
And we are the WALTWINS. If this is your first time here with us, welcome. Consider subscribing and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything that we do. Always cooks. Lately, it always involves cooking, right?
Always, only cooking.
Like I had to say right, like I didn't know, right?
Yeah.
But we welcome in the Florida rains. We're right in the middle of hurricane season. Fortunately, nothing's come our way, but we are getting a very wet fall so far. And you know what? I guess we need the rain, so we welcome it, but it cools it down, especially in the WALTWINS kitchen, so I'm happy for that.
Yes, it gets very hot in this kitchen, not just because we're here.
If you can't handle the heat, Brett,
Get out of the kitchen.
Shabba. Okay, anyways, but we're gonna move on. But today we are doing Sloppy Joes.
I know how you kids like 'em sloppy.
When I was a kid, I used to love Sloppy Joe Day at school. It used to be one of the only good foods that they seemed to have. I'll be honest, I actually didn't mind.
I think they
cafeteria
used
food.
manwich.
In the cafeteria. Manwich, known for its amazing mix. And we thought about, you know what, when we kept getting this request, we thought, you know what, let's use Manwich. And then I thought, you know what, let's go and see what the World Wide Web has. And the Chunky Chef, no, that's not a nickname we give ourselves, the chunkychef.com has an excellent recipe. We took that recipe, we made a few tweaks, and we went ahead and mixed the sauce ourselves beforehand, something a little bit different because we are tossing this on the griddle. So Brett, why don't we go ahead and get to the groceries?
And here we are, as you can see, we've got this big bowl of ketchup. Just kidding, that is the sauce. It looks like ketchup, but is absolutely delicious. We're gonna add our ground beef, which is 80-20 mix. We've got these minced onions and green peppers, and we're gonna be putting on these amazing Arnold sesame seeded sandwich buns.
That's right, and I am super excited for this one. Now, we just turned the griddle on right now. We've got it at medium low, like Brett always says, 35 after the hour, and that's right where we like to cook this one. All we're gonna do is brown the meat. When the meat is brown, we're gonna pull it off to the side. Now, if we were doing this inside in a skillet, we'd actually put this in a colander to drain those juices, but a lot of that fat just drips out the back of the Blackstone anyway. We also like to preserve some of that to help with the meat. I'll be putting a little bit of salt and pepper in my ground beef. That's something I always do when I start to cook, just to really help with the seasoning. Once it's brown, we'll pull it off, and then all we're gonna do is saute the onions and the peppers. As soon as those are done sauteing, we'll bring it back in. We'll mix in the ground beef with the peppers and onions and the sauce. And then we're gonna toss the sauce on and just mix it up. Now, we wanna cook it as long as we can, really let those juices simmer in and get in there. This is a kind of a quick cook, but we wanna let it go.
And it is also the type of cook that over time it's gonna marinate more and more. So even if we have it for leftovers tomorrow or whatever, it's gonna be a little more flavorful than it's right when we pull it off the Blackstone.
Right, absolutely, but we want them hot off the Blackstone.
Yes, we
also,
did.
as soon as we're done with the Sloppy Joe meat, we're gonna pull it off, we'll toast our buns, and then we'll get our cook on, we'll get our build on, and we'll be good to go. All right, Brett, let's get it going. All right, so we're just gonna toss down a little bit of oil. We wanna see the white puff of smoke. As soon as we do, we know it's ready. The white wisp of smoke. As soon as we see that, we'll know that's hot enough, and that's gonna give us some sizzle. We'll start browning this. Yeah, it's snapping just a little bit, starting to just see a little bit of that white smoke, so we're gonna get our cook on, Bretta. I was giving Brett a hard time. Usually seems whenever he comes in, puts meat or anything on, he likes to he likes to get it up in the oil and it splashes everywhere. So I was giving him a hard time.
What can I say? I get excited about cooking.
So this will not take long at all. Brett, go ahead and toss a little salt and pepper in here.
All right, over your right shoulder.
There we go. Go ahead. Little salt.
I'm coming out here.
Little pepper. Now I just use that just to give it a little more seasoning. There's a little salt and pepper in our mix. And by the way, for our Sloppy Joe mix is a homemade recipe, and I will have the recipe for that down below. And again, it did come from the Chunky Chef, so make sure and check that out below. We have our take on it, but Again, it's down below. Speaking of down below, we now have a Patreon page. We are so excited for the love and support we've been getting from our community. Patreon is just one more way that you can support if you would like.
Yeah, the Patreon, it just gives you a little more access to us from anything from merchandise, discounted merchandise, our recipes, behind the scenes, and like we said, you have a little more access to us. So again, that's Patreon, check it below.
All right, that is looking just about brown, and that's gonna continue to cook just a little bit. So we're gonna push this off to the side. And then right here where we were cooking, let's bring back in some of the grease here.
The meat grab.
All right, go ahead and toss that right down on there, bro. In fact, here, hold on, let's toss a little bit more of that oil in there too. Now this is superb with olive oil. As we went to use our olive oil, we realized for the first time in a long time, we are out of olive oil. So vegetable oil.
Out of olive oil?
Right, no kidding. But vegetable oil works just as well.
You could, even if you want to, you can throw some butter in there too.
Oh, yeah, because all we're doing is sauteing these up. Let's flatten these out, let those cook through, and then we'll mix them up and do it again. As soon as those are ready, we'll bring the meat back over. Okay, one thing we failed to mention is that we do want to have some garlic. So we want to mix that in with our veggies. Yeah, let's get at least a tablespoon in there. This is going to really help with the flavor.
Oh, that smells so good.
Right. The intention normally is to put the garlic in with the oil first and let it get very aromatic and then toss in the veggies, but you know what? Better late than never. We want that kick of garlic in this as well, and of course it's gonna make it smell unbelievable. Those are just about done. What I'm looking for is I'm looking for clarity in my onions. My onions give me clarity of life, and once I know that things are making sense again, then we'll know it's okay to add.
If you feel like your life is a little foggy, your brain, saute some onions. They'll clear everything right up.
You're looking for clarity. We are looking those to start turning transparent a little bit. Most of those are. There's still some that are a little white, so I'm saying another 30 seconds, maybe a minute tops, and then we'll bring this all back together.
Okay, another quick mention too, when we talked about the ground beef is 80-20. I don't know if I mentioned, but we're using a pound for this cook.
Absolutely, yeah, that's right. We are using 1 pound. Good point. Which, again, all the measurements, the whole recipe cook will be down in the description. All right, Brett, that looks just about good, would you say?
Yeah.
Okay, ready to toss it back in?
Yep, get the meat on, I got the sauce.
And the crowd goes wild for this one.
Goes wild for the
Okay,
child.
so I'll tell you when to drop that in. Let me mix this up good. I'm not gonna lie, this right here seems like—
I just want a big, huge spoonful of that.
You know what this would go on, Brett? This is like Todd Tovin did those cheat steaks.
Yes.
Just ground beef with the onions and peppers. Toss a whole heap of cheese on that on a big hoagie. I'd be down with that.
Yep.
This is so good. Brother, I think that's mixed in, man. Let's go ahead and toss the sauce.
Toss the sauce.
All right. Oh, look at that. Go ahead, and that's why we got the spatula. Rubber spatula, help it get out. This is big and sticky. Oh my gosh, dude. There's just something so therapeutic about just making a big mess of food like this.
It smells amazing.
So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bring that heat all the way to low.
Okay.
And then even after a while, I'm gonna cut the heat and keep mixing this because this is so aromatic and I want those juices to marry. So this is very thick. This cooked through and got thick quick. There's a little water in here to make it runny, but that's okay. The idea is to make it runny and then you can cook it out and then make it the consistency you want. I like mine just a little bit thicker. So I'm gonna cook this just a little bit longer. Again, I want those flavors to simmer and marry really well. Okay, so I'm gonna kill the heat now. We still need to toast our buns, but this is definitely hot enough even to do that. I'm just gonna leave this here for a minute or two, and then we'll be good to go. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna lay our buns down. Just toast these quickly. Again, I've turned off the heat. May have to turn it back on, but hopefully it was hot enough that we can get these just a nice toast on them and then move on with life. As suspected, we need to turn that heat back on. It's hot, but it's cooling quick. Especially since the temperature changed with this rain coming in. I should have known better. All right, buns are done. Therefore, time to get the build on.
Well, there it is.
Boom. Man, it looks exactly like a sloppy Joe
Sloppy
would,
Joe.
and I'm super excited about that. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No.
Oh, and this was a super fun cook. I always tell Brett there's just something therapeutic about it. Just mixing the meat and then getting those onions and green peppers in, and then the
sauce.
Oh man, it's all about
Sauce
the
is
sauce.
boss.
Sauce is boss on that one. So Brett, let's just dive into this one. It can look amazing, like we say.
Looks like a sloppy Joe, which
Absolutely.
is amazing.
It can smell amazing. It does smell amazing, like a sloppy Joe.
Like a sloppy Joe.
But if this doesn't taste amazing, then this was all for naught. And I
Oh
plan
my
on this
God.
getting all over my face.
Me too.
Cheers, I'll eat to that, my brother. Okay. Oh, hot. Yeah, oh hot. But,
I knew it was gonna be messy.
I'm only setting that down for a second. I don't know why I'm setting it down at all, actually. I need another bite.
Might as well falling on my plate.
Yeah, okay.
There's a reason why they're called sloppy Joes.
I was like, I wonder why I'm setting it down. Because it's still so scalding hot. So let me ask you, better than Manwich?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not kidding. This is probably the best sloppy Joe I've ever had.
Yeah, hands down.
This is so good, man. This is so good. Now, would you put a pickle on there?
Yeah, of course.
Man, we love pickles.
Anything,
You know, and we saw a lot of people like, oh, we gotta have pickle on it, gotta have pickle
I
on
don't
it.
even like maybe banana pepper, peppercini, anything like
But
that.
I will tell you, I don't know that it needs maybe some cheese, but this by
Yes.
itself, this is a quintessential sloppy Joe. It needs absolutely nothing. Your personal preference, whatever you want to dress it with. What would you put on a sloppy Joe? Comment below. Maybe it's something we've never thought about. Aside from cheese, maybe some pickles. What would you put on your sloppy Joe? To me, I've always eaten them plain. Always. I don't know that I've ever had a sloppy Joe with anything else on it.
Yeah, no, I never have, ever.
Listen, I don't know if you can hear the excitement in my voice. I'm talking more because this is so good. This is exactly what I hoped it would be. And man, it turned out perfect. 10 out of 10 for me, man.
Yeah,
This was excellent.
absolutely.
All right, dude. But you know, we could talk about this all day long to the break of dawn. Baby, got it going on. Don't forget, if you did like our take on this, make sure and give this a thumbs up. However, if this wasn't for you, you didn't like it, hit the thumbs down 2 times for us because we get this isn't for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Thank you so much for coming and watching us build these amazing sandwiches. And we always love to do this. We love to do it with and for you. So thank you to those that suggested this. This was another banger, one that we were excited to do. This one absolutely claps back at you because it's got so much flavor in there. That flavor profile is amazing. Again, don't forget to check the description below for Patreon and also the recipe for this cook. So down in the description, if you don't know where that is, if you look under the video on the right-hand side, there's a little arrow. If you click on that, it'll drop down the description for you, and then you can see all the information below. But Brett, aside from coming to make these amazing sloppy joes, which by the way, you just said, dude, this does this just like Manwich. I think it's better, but
I meant, it reminded me of Manwich, which
Yes.
honestly, I was hoping for. I love Manwich.
Yes, of course.
I absolutely
yeah,
love Manwich.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't take it as an insult.
It looked exactly like Manwich, so we bit into it. I was like, it's like Manwich, but it's a little better because there's that homemade. There's no preservatives or anything in there. So
it is such a satisfying cook. Something you could do for the kid. I mean, this was 1 pound of ground beef. We could put 10 pounds on there.
Oh,
cook
fill
it
this
all
whole
up, the whole
thing.
thing up with sloppy Joe. But it would be a crowd pleaser for sure. We've got plenty though for the kiddos. That's what we're having for dinner tonight. So I'm glad we got that. But Brett, aside from coming to knock out this banger, this sloppy Joe on the Blackstone, why else are we doing this?
because all we do is twin,
No matter what. And with that, we bid you adieu.
And don't forget to like and subscribe.
And griddle on.